Valerie Anders, if we say I was blessed or born with this, is that acknowledging God gave me the gift? No, not necessarily at all. I've heard people, and you can see them in Hollywood. They, I've heard them, not they'll say things like I was blessed, I was born. I've heard them say I was blessed,
Yeah.
I was born with this, but it all goes back to they point it all back to themselves. And when it's something that a person's really acknowledging God, you'll see it in their life. That's
There
what
you
true
go.
acknowledgement deals
There you
with,
go.
the life, not so much with the lips.
What you see with it, Valerie, is that if I say, it's nothing wrong with saying that, by the way,
Hmm.
I was blessed or born with this. What you see with that is a humility lifestyle.
Amen.
You know, uh, you can tell by the way people carry themselves. That there's an act of humility that is there. Like people wouldn't even know I was the pastor when they came into the
Yeah.
church.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
because
Well,
I don't even take the rightful high seat, which is the pulpit, and there's nothing
yeah.
wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. That's just me. Yeah, because I don't find have a right to sit there until God has called me to
Hmm.
actually teach the gospel. That's me. I'm not trying to get to any theological debate with somebody over that. But again, because I acknowledge that I'm nothing without God until God calls me to speak to the people, then I don't even sit in the seat.
Hmm. Amen.
Okay. So not that people don't know who the pastor is if they need to know who the pastor is. That's not what I'm saying. So, but at any rate, so yeah, you can say that, but it's the humility of life that will prove whether you're merely boasting within yourself or boasting within God. There's nothing
Amen.
wrong with boasting. Paul said, "If I boast, I'll boast in the Lord." There's nothing wrong with
Hmm.
boasting. You can brag. You can brag all day
Hmm.
long. You brag all as long as the bragging is on God.
Amen. We have Lorraine. Amen. These gifts are just that. They do not come from us. Uh, Madison. Oh, she said, Amen, only as good as God has made us. As Lorraine. Madison Richard. Amen. I do acknowledge that my gifts are from God. I think at times I'm tempted to lean into them as evidence that I'm not worthless, and it makes me feel good. Just want to make sure that isn't coming from being proud.
Madison, when you say that, I don't think that's uncommon either. I can remember doing that early on, and when I was whatever early on might be for some, early on in salvation, where I kind of leaned to my gifts to kind of validate me and so forth and so on. You know, I'm not saying we should do that, but I'm saying I don't find it to necessarily be unusual, especially when you start realizing, oh wow, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And you felt worthless most of your life. Yeah, you can find yourself kind of leaning to your gifts for the sense of value, or look how great I am, so to speak. And there's nothing wrong with engaging your gifts as long as you engage your gifts with thankfulness and with thanksgiving, and with praise. There's nothing wrong with that. If God has given you certain talents, certain gifts, then it would behoove you to glorify Him in those gifts. And so, some of these things are things that just work out with the course of time. And as we grow, we work through these things and we work these things out. But
Hmm.
I would say we're everyday preachers answering everyday questions right back at you.